we can show off. Do you want me to send you that?
Yeah, but and maybe halfway through we can do that when the time comes. But yeah, so we are live right now. So how's it going, everyone? I'm here with. I just call you Infinite. Should I? Do you have an other name you want me to call you, or just calling you Infinite? Cool.
You can call me Josh.
Josh. So with Josh, Josh is a writer who's popped up on the scene. Cool guy, backs a ton of books. I'm sure you guys might have seen him around supporting other creators, which is awesome. And then I got to know him because he did voice work for some animation. And I can't remember. I think I might have put out a little call or mentioned it, and then you DM'd and said, "Hey, I do voice. I do some voice work." You sent. Oh, this is yeah. You sent a kind of sample, and it was you doing like Joker, and it was really good. And so
Yeah, I
then,
was. Oh, sorry.
well, go ahead. Yeah, you can tell me your side of that story, kind of.
Yeah, I had done a. I have these samples that I have set up where I don't. I should probably redo them because I was doing them in one take, but I did a scene from Three Jokers by Jeff Johns and Jason Fabok.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, yeah, it's like really good. I sent it to Jared, who's like, we did Hotel Story together, and the animation that we did with you was for Hotel Story, but he was really impressed, and so that was a fun way to get to know you that way. And then yeah, of course, that's only like a side hustle, really. Like your main thing is you're a writer, and it's come up on we like the discourse all last week was writers versus artists, and you're one of these ones who like you're a writer who's like a production company in yourself where you're investing in yourself, kind of, right? Like you're funding these books and you're like working and skipping vacations to be able to do it and stuff. Is that true? I think so.
Yeah, I've skipped meals. I've put in extra time at my. I, I I was gonna call it a real job, but I don't want to like diminish what other people do with like right. But like I'm a my I work night shift as a truck driver, and so I've been putting in extra hours for that. Just try to get money to fund everything, and I'm paying everything by myself. I'm paying the artist by myself, colors by myself, letters by myself. All I know how to do is write. I can't
Yeah.
draw to save my life.
Yeah. Yeah, and the budget, it's crazy even for indies. It gets high and you pay fair or more than fair for reels. So, I think that's cool too. So, yeah, a lot of like positive initial things of me just meeting you being like, "Oh, this guy's cool." And working with Luke is fun. And actually, so that's part of what we're streaming about here is that that's launching in like June, right? And it's called Pawn. So this is your first book. You have a couple in the pipeline. This is kind of one of the, kind of the preeminent one, the first one.
I do. I wasn't really ready to announce that, but yeah.
Yeah. Wait, what you weren't announcing Pawn or what?
I wasn't announcing that I had other stuff in the works.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
You're good. You're good.
Okay. Yes. But so anyway, Pawn is it launching in June?
Yeah, June.
Cool. And yeah, so you're again doing it how the conventional wisdom is. So by the way, well right, how's it going, man? Good to see you in the chat. Anyone in the chat, it says 3 people watching. I'm sure more people will be coming in, but please do click on the link in the description or the pinned tweet and sign up for Josh's mailing list. And if you sign up, then it'll send you an email where you have to confirm it. And that email almost always goes to your spam. So double check your spam because he was saying he's actually still has 0 as we start this. So tonight, when by the end of this stream, we wanted at least like 5 or something. So everyone, please sign up. But I think people have been signing up, but then they haven't got through the spam thing, which is that's like an unfortunate system of how some of this stuff works or whatever.
It's even more unfortunate because the link is only valid for 24 hours. So anybody that saw the initial tweet that I put out, they've got to redo it.
Okay. So where does the real link go? Because that might be the link that I used. I don't know.
If you went on to ietales.com, you put in your email address, it's going to send you an email that has a button in it that you click to sign up. After you do that, you'll be officially signed up, but that button is only active for 24 hours. I know it's a really stupid system,
Oh,
but
gotcha.
there's more to it behind the scenes going on, and I think this is actually going to be really good in the long run.
Yeah, that's not so bad because everyone. I mean, it's like you can't dig through your spam a week later. You just have to do it again. But that's a little bit more normal. That like seems normal to me. But okay, so getting started like 3 months or more in advance, building the email list, out there backing tons of books, being part of the scene, part of the live streams, making connections, and it's still hard as you go. You know, like you mentioned, like it's like to break through or to like even get on certain streams. Like one thing is the timing is like, you know, it's too bad you weren't that we weren't traveling in time to like 2 or 3 years ago, you know? Because I'm just thinking of what promo streams there are. There's like I do them, but just like this, you know, like it's kind of unofficial and we just hop on and talk about it. And then there's Bancroft and like that's all I can think of. You know what I mean? Like I'm actually having trouble thinking of ones for because I have a live campaign right now, but to go on and promote. There are a few I can think of. Shoot, I don't know.
So
They're out there though.
the origins of Pawn is actually like 10 or 11 years ago, but the actual production was about 2 or 3 years ago, and I just haven't been ready to do it because I want to get my hope is by June all 6 issues are going to be completed and ready to go to print because
Cool,
I want to start putting this out I want to put out an issue every other month. We're going to do a month of backing and then a month of fulfilling, month of backing, month of fulfilling.
cool.
I'm trying to take this as serious as like as far as I'm concerned, this is a second job for me. I might not
Yeah,
be getting any money right now, but I'm putting in this investment. I'm trying to do this correctly. I want to get this done. I'm taking it seriously, and it's going to be hopefully a success.
yeah. Yeah, that's a good way to do that because that's something that like everyone knows and feels in their bones that that works. Like basically the consistency, and yet almost no one. I want to say like maybe like no one's done it to that level of like six in a row. You know who's got a good little streak going is Phil, for Man with No Strings. They launched book zero and then fulfilled, and then like 2 months later, so it's every 3 months or basically I think they're on their schedule. They've launched book two now, and they're going to be able to continue that for book three. So eventually they might have to slow down too, but yeah, like that consistency. I would love to see that like just happen and see the fruits of get working ahead like that. I'm going to try and do that with some of my stuff in the future. I think too the other things people do like single issues. I was on the fence about it for a while, especially with crowdfunding of like, but single issues combined with consistent release um, is actually like a really nice business plan for indie comics. So you're going to be doing that. So that's something we all kind of have to look forward to. That's kind of fun. But you mentioned
We're
10
going to try our
years.
best.
Yeah.
I don't think we've announced. I don't think we've talked about who the artist is for the book.
Yeah. So do you want to talk about that? Go ahead.
Yeah. So I was just randomly viewing Twitter one day, and I saw an artist that I liked, and I just was DM'd them, and I was like, "Hey, do you want to do this book together?" It was Luke Stone, who was the founder of Fund My Comic. I had no idea who he was. Had not didn't do any kind of research into him. I don't usually look into who the artists are. I see work that I like. I message them, "Hey, do you want to work together?" If yes, we start doing something. If no, then we don't.
Yeah.
But so I had no idea who this guy was, and I feel really fortunate that I'm working with. He's a fantastic artist, fantastic person. I've met him and his family in real life. We had lunch together. He's a really good guy. But the pages that he's coming at me with are so good, and I can't wait for people to see him.
Yeah. Yeah. And I've read, is it issue zero is what you're calling it? Is it like the prequel or something? Or maybe it's issue one. I read the first one though, right? I think. And you sent me one and even two is in
So
production
right
now.
now, issue one is complete. I think we need to change like one scene just because it's a little rambly at some point. Um, and Luke had been doing the lettering for that. We got a different letterer for the rest of the series. But the not that Luke was doing a bad job; he was doing a great job. It's just I'd like for him to focus on the art.
Yeah.
Um, but the first issue is 30 pages. Originally, it was going to be a 10-page zero issue that kind of introduced the series. I actually wrote that. That's what I was saying before. Is I wrote that 10 years ago, and we can get into that later. Um, but I kind of hired Luke for that, and then as I was getting the pages, my mind started whirring, and a whole story came up into my head, and I was like, "Hey, do you want to do more?" And he was like, "Yeah, sure." And so now we've got a 20 page after that. I combined that with number zero because it. Let's be honest, the first 10 pages, not really much happens. Um, it's a
Yeah,
good
like
introduction. But,
it explains the concept well, I think. Yeah.
uh, I think you're misremembering pages 11 and 12 as part of the original.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
the page 10 ends with him cleaning up. If you, I don't want to spoil what goes on in there, but uh, the the rest of it is so it just works better as a 30 page. So the first issue is almost completely done. The second issue, I just got the letters back for. That's been colored, penciled, everything, and then we're halfway through penciling issue number 3. So hopefully by June it will be finished. Um, sorry, I'm like really anxious right now. I've never done anything like this before.
Cool. Yeah, I mean, live streaming, you get used to it. We were going to talk about that a little bit. So I'm trying to remember what my experience was because I was nervous too. And then early on, I drank a lot while I was live streaming. And I think a lot of people did. And that era, it was like 2018 even, or like 2017.
You were
But
doing what a lot?
drink, like just getting drunk, which
Oh,
I don't recommend, even though that does work or whatever. I mean, for
I'm actually 14 months sober now, so
yeah. Hey,
I
cool.
don't think that's
Yeah,
gonna
we're
happen.
and you're are you a little younger than me? Are you like mid 30s or something or
Yeah, I'm
yeah.
33.
Yeah, that's a good age to quit drinking. I think I quit drinking when I was 25, or I mean 35, or 34 or something. And and I don't regret it. It's good. But yeah, then you don't have a way to relax. But just doing I don't know. There's funny things that like people if like I don't think Doug Tenepa would mind me telling this story. I don't think, but like he was in those early streams, and he was nervous. Like everyone was nervous, and so it was like a big stream, lots of people watching, and so he was like pissing in a gallon milk gallon because he didn't want to leave. He didn't want to leave the stream. So he's like live streaming and pissing in a gallon. It's like everyone was figuring it out as they went. Nobody knew what they were doing, um, and yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to think if there's any like even advice. The other thing is I'm not even the best because I feel like my freaking audio still. Do I sound okay now? I'm talking like right into my mic. Is my audio
Yeah, you
okay?
sound fine to me.
Okay. Yeah, I need to figure out. I think I'm gonna remount my mic behind my computer and then move it forward so it'll be floating. I think that'll solve some issues. Um, but yeah. Uh, so yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I have any advice for streaming. But yeah, everyone is nervous at first, and it's funny. It's like it's been years for me, so I'm not nervous anymore. But I think I was nervous when I did the stream with Mark Miller and his daughter. That was
That's understandable.
yeah, and I was like eating my foot a little bit, put my foot in my mouth just a little bit. But
I thought you did
um,
fine on that. That was
yeah. So yeah. So anyway, but there's obviously no pressure. By the way, this is a small stream too. I mean, right now we got 3 people watching, people in the chat, a couple, Alex, everyone. By the way, if everyone's watching, if you're new, if you just got here, please sign up to the mailing list in the pinned tweet and the description. That's kind of what this is for. This is for the book Pawn, from Josh Infinite Entertainment here. And yeah, we've been talking about this book. So it comes out in June. The
check your
first
spam
issue's
folder.
yeah, check your spam folder. The first issue is going to be 30 pages. I've just read the first 10. And I'm trying to remember because I just remember what I read is like explaining the kind of job of this like maybe I'll let because I don't want to give away anything too much, but I'll let you talk about it. But do you want to like pitch and you don't actually don't have to worry too much about spoilers, like I don't think. Like that's kind of part of the pitch a lot of times. Maybe no huge spoilers.
So basically, like the I was going to talk about like how the comic ended up coming to be and all that stuff, but basically, like if I were to do like a one sentence elevator pitch, is that uh, how do I put this? Basically, evil is real, and the only people that are going to be able to stop them are a bunch of bumbling failures.
Yeah. And it
And
has to do
so
with the
it's
pawn shop.
yeah, and so basically there's a mystical pawn shop, and you can kind of, I guess the best comparison would be like Doctor Strange, sort of, where we have this character, the Midnight Mystic, who actually I'm going to send you some character stuff so we can show off these people. Um,
Yeah. Do you want to send it to X chat?
yeah, I can do that.
Cool.
I probably should have done that before we started, but
Yeah, no worries. Um, but yeah, it's like Doctor Strange. That's cool. And you're super well read with comics. Like your lifelong encyclopedic knowledge of do you do DC or Marvel or indies or what?
so I grew up reading old Silver Age Marvel and modern day, like mid 2000s. When I say modern day, DC and Marvel. There was actually a point where we went on. My mom, her friend, and me went on vacation, and it was like a 3 or 4 day weekend, and I ended up going to the library, and I checked out maybe around what would have been maybe 2,000 comic books, and I read all of them in those 4 days. And so I read through all the old. I read Spider-Man up from like the '60s to I think the '90s. I read all of Jack and Stan's Fantastic Four. I read Ant-Man, the old Ant-Man, the old Hulk, some Silver Age Green Lantern, a bunch of modern, or I keep saying modern, even though it's like mid 2000, early 2000 stuff.
Yeah.
But I just sat, I locked myself in. They were going off onto the beach. I just sat myself in my bedroom, locked the door, and was just plowing through all these books through the whole time.
How old were
Um,
you for this? You're like 13 or something or
I would have been, yeah, something around that, 13 to 15 or something like that.
yeah.
I didn't
So
really have
like a
friends growing
formative
up, so like
years
comics
for
were my quote unquote friends.
yeah. That's a heard that before and that's cool or interesting. Yeah. Yeah, I like that lore, that origin story. It's like I'm curious of that. So I'm not really like that. I think I kind of started reading comics as a senior in high school, almost because I wanted to get into movies, and comics are kind of adjacent in various ways of getting work or being able to tell stories. So I almost like made a deliberate choice, and I think it was like early internet was like I don't even know if Google, Facebook was like something the next year or whatever started, but so you could kind of like search and things would come up, and somehow with a little bit of research, people were saying Mouse and Watchmen and The Dark Knight Returns, which that's its 40th anniversary, like this month or whatever, next month, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, so people have been talking about that on Twitter. But yeah, those are like the first three comics I read, and then I realized I missed. There's like others that people mention. I'm like, yeah, these are like sometimes they call them the Western canon, but they're like, it's like yeah, what would be on the list if you almost like if you had to like make a little case for the future, like a time capsule kind of thing, or you're like,
Oh
hey,
gosh.
future civilization, read these comics. If you can only read like 20, what makes the list? And you got to like represent comics or whatever.
If I were to do my top three, uh, I Kill Giants by Joe Kelly and oh gosh, I can't remember his name. Um, but it's basically about this girl who there's clearly something wrong with her because she's like cutting herself and going through all this stuff, but she's really obsessed with fighting giants.
Mm.
And I don't want to spoil it because it's a very very moving and beautiful story, but I Kill Giants, and then probably does the length matter?
No, but it might be cheating if it's super long, I guess.
Okay, so
Like
I
if
can't
you
I can't put like the 160 issue Ultimate Spider-Man.
Wait, is that like the whole Ultimate Spider run? That's kind of cool. Does that was that like a revamp? Like it starts with him wrestling and getting bit, and Uncle Ben dying, and then it goes
So
on from
that
there.
yeah, that was one of my first comic books. When I grew up reading, and I was actually having a conversation with my mom about this because I'm trying to get my nephew into comic books now. And when I was his age, when I was like 5 or 6, I was reading chapter books,
Mhm.
and everybody. So it would be like everyone else around me was like reading See Spot Run, and then I'm over there with Harry Potter, like just blasting through it.
Yeah,
Um, and so I've been reading comic books since I was like 8 or 9 years old. Ultimate Spider-Man was one of my first one. I had this little Batman digest with some Neil Adams, and I wish I could remember what else was in there. The Riddleless Robberies of the Riddler was one of the stories, and then there was a Enemy Ace story and a Two Face story, and um, but those were like my first comics I ever read, and basically the original Ultimate Universe started in it was either late 1999 or the early 2000s, and it was originally supposed to just be like a relaunch of a reboot of the Marvel universe taking place in the modern day. It was heavily decompressed, and so like I think the first arc of Ultimate Spider-Man was 7 issues, and it takes until like issue maybe like the end of issue 2 for him to get his spider powers. Um,
yeah.
and it takes place with him in high school, and he's actually there's a very controversial retcon later in the series where it's like revealed that 150 issues took place over a year when it's just physically impossible for it to happen. But he's in high school through the whole thing until he dies. Um, and
What
then
he
9/11.
dies?
Yeah, you don't know about this?
No. So Ultimate Spider-Man, does he like come back or does it just end with him dying?
So Ultimate Spider-Man goes through all this stuff, and then at the end, um, the state of the universe is basically Nick Fury has lost his job as the director of Shield. Carol Danvers is taking his place. Um, and it was Brian Bendis writing Ultimate Spider-Man at this point, and then Mark Miller was came back to write Ultimate Avengers. He had originally wrote Ultimates, which I was about to get into that, where it 9/11 happened early on in the Ultimate Unit, or early on in the real world when the Ultimate Universe launched, and
Oh,
that kind of changed the course of it. And they brought in Mark Miller. I want to say he was fresh off the Authority, and
yeah.
so they brought that kind of mindset into it, and it was very, very post 9/11. It was very, very anti-Bush. It was very, very anti-military industrial complex. It was very political. The characterizations are really good. If you talk to people now, they'll only talk about it like being like super bigoted and blah. The whole series has really just gone over people's heads. If you read it now, it I think it still really holds up, but it's very like Bush is in there as a character, and the Ultimates are a team that are working for the Shield, who's like an arm. If I'm remembering correctly, it's like an arm of the U.S. government. So they're literally like invading Middle Eastern countries and destabilizing them for the government. And it's but flash forward several years, Nick Fury's lost his job, and he's pitted the Ultimates versus the Avengers to each other. And the Avengers at this point are like these ragtag groups. The Punisher's part of them, and it's like just a super crazy team fighting Carol Danvers' team. Spider-Man ends up getting shot, taking a bullet for Captain America. Um, and at the same time, the Sinister Six has broken free, and they all know who Peter is, and they're all attacking his house. And the only people there are the Human Torch and Iceman to protect Aunt May.
Hmm.
And Peter arrives. He starts beating them all, and then it ends up being him and the Green Goblin fighting each other. Peter's mortally wounded. Mary Jane ends up driving a truck into the Green Goblin. It explodes. Peter's caught in the blast. He's able to beat the Green Goblin, but he's dying. He dies in Aunt May's arms, and it turns out that in the crowd is Miles Morales, who has been bitten by his own spider, and this is where he comes in.
Oh,
And eventually he's got to figure out his own deal, and that's kind of where Miles came from.
Nice. I thought you were gonna say Aunt May becomes the new Spider-Man.
No, but Aunt May is a badass in the Ultimate Universe. Uh,
Yeah,
when when the Sinister Six are attacking the house, uh, Electro's coming at her, and I'm probably getting the details wrong a little bit there. It's been a while since I've read it, but she ends up shooting him with a gun, and he explodes.
nice. Yeah, that's cool.
Aunt
That
May is
sounds sweet.
really
And
cool
this
in that
this
movie.
is the stuff that it's like all early 2000s or whatever. That's like the ultimate.
Early 2000s to like 2015 is when it lasted like 15 years.
Oh wow. Yeah, and then and that's what you're saying. What that's is that 167 is the whole line, or is that just Spider-Man?
The Peter Parker run is 1 through 160. So that would be my. We totally got off on a tangent there, but I Kill Giants, Ultimate Spider-Man, and
Yeah.
I don't know what I'd
Well,
do number 3, man.
yeah. Well, you can keep thinking because I like hearing those, and yeah, that's interesting. And like 160, that is a lot, but I mean that's totally readable. And I was thinking
There-
like One Piece or something. That's almost like I don't know how many freaking pages that is now. It's like fills a
I think
library
they're
or
at like
something.
1,200 something.
Yeah, yeah, that's so crazy. But yeah, it also goes up to 2015. That's like, 2014, 20, even 2013 is kind of when people were starting to the kind of downhill that lasted till like recently, and people are still nervous about it, about like SJW woke type stuff messing up the stories. But
The whole lead into Secret Wars was the Ultimate Universe colliding with the main universe.
and what was that circa?
That was 2015. The 2015 Secret Wars by Jonathan Hickman.
Oh, and then that's kind of the end. It takes over as Secret Wars, and that's something
Yeah, so
that's kind
then
of the end of
Secret
the.
Wars happens, the multiverse gets formed together into one battle world, and Doctor Doom's ruling all of it. I think the Avengers movie is going to be taking a lot from that.
Yeah, cool. Nice. By the way, while we're talking about that, we can also talk about this, but I want people to know what we have on screen. So this is like the character art for Pawn. So I'll show there's a handful of images here.
So if we go back one to the guy with the costume, this is no the costume. One more. Yeah, there we go. This is the Midnight Mystic. This is our Doctor Strange character. Doctor Strange, but he's an alcoholic stoner, and he has shirked his responsibilities. And instead of having the Sanctum Sanctorum, he has a pawn shop where basically through his adventures he has a bunch of mystical items, and instead of having them be in a safe place, he has decided to enchant the building and store them in the pawn shop where people can then it functions as a normal pawn shop, so people can walk in, buy like, hey, I need these shears. Those shears might have been used to kill a werewolf or something like that, or contain a ghost or something like that, and so they're currently enchanted. But once the purchase happens, they just become a normal pair of shears. And the reason for that is he might need something from the pawn shop, and so he's able to go in there and be like, hey, I need these for this misadventure that I'm going on. Um, but he's also able to make a little money as a side hustle on the side.
Cool.
Um, but he has been
He's
shirking his responsibilities.
okay.
And if you are not doing your job as the protector of the universe, bad things are going to happen.
Yeah, and that's kind of where it starts to it like catches up to him, and he's getting into trouble or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Yeah, I love the concept. I love like the pitch. That's what I remember from the first 10 pages is like kind of setting up this pawn shop, setting up the drunk guy. But I'm trying to remember who's this guy because I saw
That's
him
the
in
Midnight
like
Mystic.
okay, so this is him without the costume.
Yeah, and this is what you mostly see him as throughout the series. We have not seen him in the costume within the first 3 issues.
Yeah. He I'm getting dude vibes in this. Is there any I guess you said he's a stoner drunk kind of. But yeah.
I gave Luke a character description, and this is what he came up with. You'd have to ask him where he got the inspiration from, but I very much get Big Lebowski.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. And that is funny. Like, I mean, you could, even if that isn't part of your initial concept, that is almost like a pitch is like, it's like, what if Big Lebowski was Doctor Strange? uh, but yeah,
That's not bad.
cool. Um, so yeah, so you wrote the first, was it, it was like it's a short story explaining the concept, the first 10 pages, you wrote it 10 years ago, and then was
So
it to release?
I originally back in 2014, 2015, I was getting really sick of the comics that I was reading. They
Yeah.
were the quality had taken a dip. The content was starting to become very, very questionable, at least since maybe like 2009 going forward.
Now, is this
Uh,
an era too, like where you're like almost? I'm trying to think what it was like for me, even, but like you're like paranoid for a little bit because you don't know. Nobody's said out loud what's happening. Nobody knows, and eventually looking back, we're like, oh, it was wokeness kind of bleeding in various manifestations that are
the
making.
subversion had started, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, I guess you are noticing some subversion. Yeah, and what does it feel like when you're reading that? Is it like you're just like, do you start to form like giant conspiracy theories in your head yet, or were you just kind of like
No, that didn't come
scratching your
until
head?
much later. I actually used to be very, very progressive.
Yeah,
Like very, very. I was part of. I don't even know how much of this I should be saying, but I used to be very part of the what I can't even remember what it was called, but like the LGBT ally group in high school, and
yeah,
like all my friends were lesbians, and I was just hanging out with very progressive people, and then even then I could start seeing something, and I was just kind of like, this isn't appealing to me. The comics, I mean, isn't appealing to me, and I didn't really understand why. And then I started writing my own. I've actually been writing comic books since second grade. We would,
yeah.
for whatever reason, the teacher would let me and my friend Tommy. I'm actually still friends with him. I'm supposed to be hanging out with him here soon. Um, for whatever reason, she would let us go out into the hallway and write and draw our own comics, and then we were able to present that to the class. For
Cool,
whatever reason, we were just allowed to do that. I don't know why. Um, but I've basically been writing comic books nonstop since second grade, and then around 2015, I was really getting sick of them, and I was starting to get out of reading them and was writing them more. And eventually, I was like, I should try to find an artist to get this. And so I wrote a bunch of 10-page stories, and I was going to put them together into an anthology book called Chopping Block. And I was going to release that for free. And then I was going to have people vote to see which one they liked the most to create a series out of it.
cool.
And
That's a
then,
fun idea. That's like manga kind of does that. Like,
oh, do they?
what? Well, what they're shoot. What's it called? If anyone in the chat knows, help me. But they do a catalog release where people vote, and that's like, yeah, you can get cut or you keep going. But it's like very meritocratic and good, like good strategy.
Okay.
Um, continue. Sorry.
But oh no, you're good. None of these stories had anything behind them. It was kind of just like, I don't know where this is going. I just wrote a story about this pawn shop. It had no, as you can tell by the first 10 issues, 10 pages, it had no mythical elements to it. It had nothing. It was just like a horror story.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then I ended up starting a comic book with one of my friends, and I spent a couple $1,000s on it, maybe like $5,000, and then I got hit by a car.
Mm.
And I've had a series of head trauma all my life, but this one gave me a concussion, and the concussion went undiagnosed. And something that can happen when you have a concussion is, as your brain is healing, you have it can kind of rewire. And so
Yeah,
I underwent a complete personality change.
I've heard
Uh,
about that. I work with a guy who said that happened to him. He got hit in the head with a baseball bat in a failed drug deal, and he was in the hospital for like 2 weeks. And then he
oh,
said he
jeez.
came out and he had a different personality, and I was like, damn, that's crazy. But his second personality wasn't into drugs, and he's a good guy now, I guess. But
Good, good, good. So it sounds like he went down the same path I did, because when I swear I became less dumb. It
yeah,
used to be like really hard for me to think, and the way that I would feel, like if I were to smoke weed now, that's how my brain would be at any time before. It would be
Yeah.
slow. It would be like hard. It was hard for me to process information or stuff. And now it's really quick. I was super reserved and I wasn't outgoing. I didn't like being around people. I was introverted, and that just completely did a 180. And now I
Cool.
love being in crowds. I love being with people. I'm super energetic. Um, I didn't have an internal monologue before, and now I do.
What?
So I didn't have a voice in my
We're
head, and
we're
now
into
I had a
some
voice.
pretty interesting shit here. So you might be one of the only people who can answer that question, because that question kind of confuses me when I heard it, because I'm like, I kind of just take it for granted. Like, I think I do have one. I half the time I'm like talking to myself out loud though. I'm like, well, that doesn't count as inner monologue, but I definitely have like thoughts running, and and then yeah, my brother claims that he doesn't, and he's really smart. So I'm like, maybe, I'm sure both ways can work for whoever, but it's like objective. Everyone's describing it differently, but you have both, which is perfect so continue. This is kind of fascinating.
Well, I have one now. I didn't before.
Yeah.
And so before, if I was reading it, I don't really know how to describe this, but it like when I read something now, I see it. I hear the words in my head. So if I
Yeah.
read my name in my head, I'm going ietails.com, Infinite Entertainment. Whereas before, I don't know how to describe it, but there wasn't a voice in my head, but I was still able to process the information that I was seeing.
Yeah.
It, but you can imagine how
And you kind of
concerning it
like the
is.
second one better. You like having the inner monologue.
Oh, I
I
love
think I
having
would
an inner
too.
monologue.
Because they claim that in general, whatever the common thought is, that yeah, it's better to have an inner monologue. They'd say maybe you don't have a soul if you don't have an inner monologue. I'm like, I don't
Oh gosh, did I gain a soul?
know. Dude, that's funny. Like, that's in the realm of one way to explain it, I'm sure, but that's ridiculous. That actually, you got isekai'd, bro. You got totally isekai'd into the real world.
I'm out of the matrix.
Yeah, yeah. Well,
But
cool.
you can.
That's crazy, because you say that. I'm like, I don't know. It makes sense. Like, it makes sense that I never heard that a head injury can make you smarter instead of dumber. I'm like, that totally makes sense though. Only in hindsight, I would never thought of that until you said it. But
Well, it was weird because I would like wake up and something about every day I would wake up, something would be different. So I would wake up one day and it's like, oh, I don't like chocolate anymore. Whereas the day
yeah,
before I could have like eat just nonstop, just chomp down on chocolate. And
yeah,
then it's like, I don't really, this isn't really something I'm into now.
yeah,
And so but you can imagine how concerning it is to have the doctors tell you, no, everything's fine. And then all of a sudden you just start hearing a voice in your head.
oh yeah, yeah, yeah,
And so I thought I was going crazy. And so
yeah,
I ended up going really hard into drugs and alcohol as like just because I was like I can't talk to anybody about this. They're gonna think I'm insane. They're gonna lock me up. I don't want to like. And so I ended up going down this really dark path. And then I'm trying to think of what happened one day. I had a moment where I was like, I need to stop doing this. And so I stopped drinking, and then I was kind of smoking weed for a while, and then I quit doing, and then I went to a really, oh, that's what it was. I got a really, really shitty job at a bar
mm,
where everyone had been there for like 5 to 15 years, but they all hated each other. And so it was just nonstop arguing and bickering and stuff like that. And I'm still over there like popping pills and smoking weed and drinking like crazy. And then I was like, okay, I need to get out of here. I'm
yeah,
not happy. Um, and along the way through that, though, my artist ended up dropping out because I just kind of disappeared. I ended
yeah,
up going homeless for a couple months just because I was spending all my money on drugs and alcohol. Um, and so I don't blame her at all for quitting because there wasn't anything to do and she wasn't getting paid. So it was kind of like, and maybe eventually we'll see that story come back because it's definitely one that I'm still wanting to tell the
yeah,
comic story. Um, but I ended up quitting weed. I ended up getting a job as a truck driver, and then about a year ago, I was like, I don't really like drinking anymore, so I'm going to quit that. And I've just been sober since. But a lot of this is in Pawn, which is
Oh
why I
yeah,
bring that,
cool.
which is why I bring that up. This alcoholic stoner. A lot of this is me.
Yeah.
A lot of this dude is I see uh Brian, the Midnight Mystic, as a kind of a douchebag, and a lot of my past is in this character, and it's also based on a friend of mine who died of alcohol withdrawal, because he was having trouble. My friend Brian was having a lot of trouble, uh, and so there's some of that him in there. There's a lot of me, um, and I don't know why my brain said this is the story you need to tell, but this is the story that's being told.
Cool. Yeah, yeah. Those autobiographic elements are awesome when they're in the story, having it be kind of personal, and it can help your motivation to tell it and everything. And that sounds cool. That's a crazy little odyssey. Uh, Good odyssey with the story. Um, what about with the amount of comics you've read? Like I've mentioned, by the way, real quick, we had 7 people watching. Now it says 5, but um, 7 people watching. Uh, Please sign up for the mailing list, everyone. We when we started this stream, it was at 0, so we need that to be ideally like 7. Like Comics Legend, it's free to sign up, so please click it now. And then it'll send you a link, which will probably go to your spam folder. So check your spam. Then you just click confirm, and then you're signed up. But yeah, that's the purpose of this stream, is to get Josh some signups for this book launching in June. It's been 10 years in the making. Um, but yeah, Comics Legend said, "These are cool, Perry. Do you also create character design turnarounds for your stories?" I'm trying to remember. We did it for Hotel Story, and it really helped, and it was a lot of fun because there's kind of an art to character design. Like you're hitting it here. Like you can tell a little bit of it's for one thing. You can tell their personality a little bit. Um, like this guy especially, um, which is awesome. But you can sometimes you can tell almost like their function in the story, which helps. Like you want bad guys to look like bad guys, you want good guys to look like good guys. You can play that against type if you want, but you don't always want to do that. But yeah, like this guy, he's like 6 foot. Looks kind of like a leading man, so he's like main character kind of guy, but obviously like got the dude Big Lebowski vibes going on, which fits with the story. So this is like great character design. I also do like I don't know what it's called, but that type of facial hair. Do you even know what that one's called? I forget.
A goatee.
Yeah, but it's different. It's like the hair right beneath the lower lip. It's not
I,
actually a goatee. It's
I think the
something.
inappropriate name is a flavor saver.
Yeah, maybe that's what it is. Chad, if you know what that's called, let us know. Uh, but yeah, that's funny. Um,
But yeah, so
and yeah, like so for
we
different
have
stuff.
Brian, who's an alcoholic stoner, protector of the universe, and he's got 2 people working at the pawn shop for him. Flavor saver. There you go, Comics Legend.
Yeah,
Soul Patch. There you go.
yeah, that's what I've heard in the past. Yeah, totally. It's very like early 2000s, late 90s kind of thing, a little bit.
And so
Um,
he has 2 people working for him. This is Ernie, who is at the start of the story. Ernie is in a very dark place. We're going to learn a little bit more about him and why he's in that dark place, because he does something pretty. Well, you can see it in my avatar there. He's holding that's Ernie in my avatar holding the bloody axe. Um, I should probably send you that. We'll
yeah, if you
do.
send that, I can throw it up too.
Uh, I'm gonna send you a picture and let's do that last, just because it's more of a promo image. But as you can see, my avatar, Ernie is holding a very bloody axe. So he's gonna do something pretty bad, and but the reasons for that might be good. It could be bad reasons. You don't really know. Um,
There, I made it bigger. People can
there you
see.
go.
Yeah, look at that art. That art's really sweet.
That's
It's awesome.
the cover for #1.
Cool. Did Luke Stone do that one?
Yes, Luke's doing the covers for it. Luke's done all the art for it.
Cool.
And so Ernie is in a very dark place, and it's going to get darker as it goes on. And then the other person that works for the pawn shop is Jim, who is the feeble looking one.
Here, I'll pull it up in a second. I'm just downloading the
No,
other
you're good.
day. Uh, yeah, this
There you
guy.
go. No, that's Kevin.
Oh, okay.
Did I not send you Jim? I must
Is
have
that
not sent
him?
you Jim. No,
Oh,
no.
yeah.
We'll get to him. Sorry, I really should have done this beforehand.
Oh, yeah. It's all good. Are you sending Jim now? Should I grab
Yeah.
it? Okay.
Oh, that's the wrong DM.
Yeah, don't send the wrong DM. You can get into trouble with that. I've done that, but luckily it was all innocent. Everything I accidentally sent.
Oh, I was gonna send the character design to someone else.
Yeah.
I shouldn't tell that story. Never mind. That's inappropriate.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what sometimes people say that. I'm like, yeah, say it. But then I'm like, I don't know.
So, what's
Cool.
this rated?
All right. So the guy should pop up here. I might have to close
I think you got to
it.
close it and pull it back up.
Yeah.
My my old boss got a text message from one of my coworkers on accident that just that just said I want to use that to drink out your ass juice.
Oh, gross. That's funny.
He was like, "Oh my gosh, wrong text."
Yeah, that's hilarious. Boom. Okay, where's the guy? The new one. Shoot, where is it? Hold on.
It's not there. Did it send?
Uh, yes.
See, this is a good learning experience for me. I've never been on a stream before, and now I'm seeing all the issues and how
Yeah.
to avoid them.
Yeah. Because it's, yeah, being your first stream. Well, and this is me too, but yeah, it's like, it's impossible to know everything, especially from just one. But it's pretty quickly. Here we go. All right, so this guy. Can you see this one?
Yeah, Jim. So this is Jim Van Helsing of the Van Helsing bloodline, which goes back to Dracula, um, which I'm sure you are familiar with.
Yeah.
And so he, as you can see, is a very meek and weak man who does not look like he should be part of this very noble bloodline of hunters. And he has, he's not really living up to the name. And why he's at the pawn shop is up in the air for now, as far as the series is concerned. I know why he's at the pawn shop, but I don't want to spoil it.
Yeah.
And so Brian has put together this very dark character with Ernie and this very weak character with Jim. And they are the ones who are taking care of the pawn shop in his absence, and they're the ones who are going to have to clean up this mess.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's that guy and this guy. So the guy is the main, who you might think is like the main character we've been talking about. It's the Doctor Strange guy. What's his name?
Brian, Midnight Mystic.
Yeah, he's like MIA. Is he MIA for a lot of the story or just for the beginning or?
He comes in during the first issue.
Okay.
And he'll be around after that, but he has not been around as he should. And something happens at the beginning of the story that causes him to return, and why he has returned and how happy he's going to be there is he's not going to be happy.
Yeah, cool. I like that. All the lore like drops you in the middle of the story. A lot. That's what I was gonna say. Is like, so reading like so many comics. Did you internalize just how the greats do it, or how did you kind of pick up writing over the years?
Uh, there was a lot of really crappy stories that I wrote along the way that I think that's pretty natural for most writers is that some of their first work is just really garbage, derivative, a lot of just weird stuff that doesn't really make sense. And then the more you write, the more you start to understand the writing. The more you understand the writing, the better the writing gets. Uh,
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm a good writer or not. People tell me I am, but just because people tell you something doesn't mean necessarily it's true. Especially with something that like art where it's very subjective. Um, so hopefully, I think if you buy this, you will get an enjoyable story. You will have an enjoyable time. Uh,
Yeah. Yeah, I think you're a good writer. But yeah, it's funny. It's like we all have blind spots almost no matter how good you are. Sometimes I wonder if it's like the line from American Psycho where she's like, "Patrick, you're already fit." And he's like, you can always be more fit, make more money." So like, and I'm like, yeah, no matter how good, because I would have thought this has kind of happened almost my whole life, but it's like, and now there was a point where if I look back, I'm like, I actually do like that. Like, it was almost like from like 27 onward or something. I kind of like most of what I have written. But yeah, like what to go to what you're saying, like it was like 10 years of writing kind of a lot and not really liking any of it after giving it some time and rereading it like a few months later. I'd be like, it's crap. But
I
now
will.
what I'm writing is like really good. It's like repeat, 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 repeat.
I will say sometimes I finish a script and I go, "Wow, that was good."
Yeah.
So like issue number 3 of Pawn, I think is really good. I'm very happy with issue number 3.
Yeah. Cool.
And I just wrote another story where I finished it and I was like, okay, this is really good as well. And then I have like 3 scripts so far that I've written that I'm just like, this is good. I know this is good.
Nice. Yeah, I mean you're kind of in that era like you're the mid 30s is like they used to be almost like mid 20s to 30. That's like Frank Miller. I think he was 28 maybe when he did Dark Knight Returns. And that's like not even, maybe that's like his peak. But then I think maybe it was almost 10 years later he did Sin City. So he kind of, he peaked twice like Michael Jordan. And some of the greats do that. That's like a pattern.
So
Cause
I have not actually read The Dark Knight Returns nor Sin City.
yeah. Oh, really? That's an interesting. So have you read any Frank Miller? I'm wondering what.
I've read his Daredevil run. I've read
Okay.
all
You
of the
know, then.
rest of
Yeah.
his Batman stuff except for The Dark Knight Returns, The Dark Knight Strikes Again, whatever the third one was. I think maybe there's a fourth one even.
Yeah.
Um, but I read his Spawn Batman crossover. I've read Year One. I've read
Well, his
300.
the Daredevil stuff is amazing, and you know if you've read that, I think that's like similar to like Dark Knight Returns as far as how
I
it's
think it's interesting that people talk about his run, but they only ever talk about like Born Again. They only ever talk about Man Without Fear. But like, I think it's like maybe even the very issue before Born Again, it's him fighting Stiltman.
Oh yeah,
And so it's like everybody talks about like, oh, it's so dark and gritty, and it's like, well, what happens before that?
yeah. I'm
It's
guilty of
not.
that. Because I've only read Born Again and Man Without Fear. I haven't read Stiltman.
I think his whole run is worth reading, but it's like there's more to it than just those
Yeah.
two
You know
stories.
what people always talk about, which I haven't really read, but it's more of the Elektra stuff. Everyone says they
Elektra's
love
really
it.
good.
Yeah. Um, but yeah, that's cool. Yeah, just my he created Elektra. Comics Legend had a quick question. You mentioned 10 years in the making. How far along is it? Yeah, I do want to answer that. We might have mentioned it earlier, but what issue are you on right now for production?
Luke is halfway through drawing issue number 3. I'm going to try to get issue number 6 done by the time we launch.
Yeah, cool. Um, yeah, that would be amazing. Um, and then it's on it's gonna launch every 2 months.
Every other
That
month.
yeah, and so that also like if you end up launching like with 4 or 5 done, you could potentially do
Yeah, so
which
there, yeah,
is
there'll
my
still be
message.
plenty of time, even if we get to June and we still have like 2 issues. That's still like 8 months out till at number 4.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So that's cool doing it rolling, getting a head start. That's the way to do it. Yeah, and Phil, I think, is in the chat. And we were talking about you earlier, Phil, that you did exactly that and it's working really well.
Yeah,
The
I was very I haven't read number 0 yet. It's sitting next to my bed. I've got like a foot high stack of uh Kickstarter, Indiegogo, Fund My Comic stuff sitting by my bed that I need to go through. But I have issue number 0 sitting right there. I was very impressed that issue number 1's coming out so soon.
Yeah. Yeah, Dale, I kind of noticed this that yeah, they packaged Born Again so you can just buy it, but it's kind of hard to do research and figure out where like so if you're like, all right, I want to read the Electra run, that is a lot harder. I actually I randomly got at a comic swap. Someone was like, got some Frank Miller Daredevil here. I was like, I'll take that one. I grabbed it and it was like 189 or something. And I read it and I found it's actually the last one where he stopped his run, I think. So it's the next guy who took over, who I forget who it was. And it was fun, but it was more, yeah, more just a regular old little fun little Daredevil issue, not too crazy. And I guess it had just ended like the so 188 or something uh was like the run with Elektra dying and stuff. And so but what was fun though, so this issue I had, which is like sort of a nobody forgetful issue, it has all the letters to the editor that are about the previous issue, which is like the Elektra. I think it was Elektra coming back finally or
Oh, so
something.
it's like everybody freaking out.
Yeah, and it's everyone just being like, I didn't trust you when you killed her because I knew you'd bring her back and I knew it would suck, but you've converted me and it was amazing and you're the greatest. Thank you so much. I've never cried so much reading a comic. Some I don't know, a bunch of like, and I trying to remember. I think if there was any hate, I don't think there might have been that much hate for because obviously everyone kind of loved it, you know. But
I love runs that turn me around as it goes or finishes more
yeah,
than
if it wins you over, yeah, yeah, you know that's what one of my essays that I've in like one of my active campaign. I sold a book of essays, and one of them is about skepticism and like what that is. And it's like skepticism is a form of attention. So if they're skeptic, you've already won. You just can't fuck it up, kind of like you actually want people to be skeptic. It means they like are enraptured. Like a magician is kind of like the good metaphor for that. Like the most perfect like audience for a magician is like the ultimate skeptic, and then it's his job to deliver. And when you convert, it's like potential energy. So the skepticism is already there. It's a form of attention. It's very positive actually. And when you convert it, then that's like the magic, and then they'll love you forever if you can pull that off. And we all know that experience of like yeah, it's really fun. Of like, I actually think art styles can kind of do that. This is like me sort of coping, defending my own digital style, minimalist art style. But I think like reading a whole book of it, I know a lot of people who've said they're like, oh, at first I didn't quite like the art style, but by the end of the book, I really liked the art style.
I saw the preview pages for Vatican City
Yeah,
and I said, "What the fuck is this? What is Miller doing? This is absolute shit. What is going on?" And then I log on to Twitter and everyone's like, "Oh my god, this is amazing!" Blah blah blah. And I was like, "Okay, fine, I'll read it." And so I
yeah,
picked it up and yeah, I started the first issue and I was like, "This is what is he doing? I don't understand." And then by the end of it, your art just clicked for me. And
yeah,
I
cool.
was like, there's so much fluid motion in here. There's so much packed in here. You're very very loose, but
Hmm.
it works in your favor because you have such good panel placement and such good flow that it feels like I'm reading animation.
Yeah, cool.
And by
Yeah, a
the
lot of
end of
people say
the
that.
I started, and I'm not trying to like crap on you or anything like that, but the start of my issue was like, I hate this guy. By the last page, I was like, this is phenomenal.
Yeah, that's funny. Yeah, and you're not the only one. A lot of people say that. And you know what's funny though? There's a little extra thing with Vatican City is like, I think I did get better as it went. And issue
You
three,
did.
I'm so proud of the art in issue three. And I'm kind of like, that's why I want to do more with Mark. And, you know, we will at some point, I do believe. But yeah, it's like, I'm like, just three. And I was getting better. It's like, Jim Lee took you can look at his early stuff. He might have taken so he the lore on Jim Lee is like he did a year training, like living at home with his parents, submitted, started getting work. And you can look at his early, I don't know, it might just be like first 6 months even, but it's not the greatest. And then all of a sudden it becomes amazing. But yeah, it's like however many issues he might have done, like 10 or 20 in the mainstream Marvel that are like serviceable but not amazing. And then it clicks and then it is amazing.
I know people crap on these stories, but I think Hush and All Star Batman and Robin the Boy Wonder are his two best work.
Yeah, yeah.
Like those
They're
are so beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah. It's cool what he did. He made that iconic look that we all think of. And it's funny, like I kind of I wonder if this is a thing, but like you can kind of be team Silvestri, I think, like early Silvestri before Image almost like on Wolverine. And I've because I haven't even read too much of that, but I read some of it. And I'm like, this is like Jim Lee, but better, is what I've always thought. And
Mm-hmm.
I think that's like not everyone thinks that, obviously, and even like the main kind of mainstream I think likes Jim Lee more. It sold more or whatever, and it made
I
more of an
can't remember
impact.
what that the Silvestri Batman comic that came out recently. It was I think it was a Black Label that he did.
Yeah,
The art on that was just phenomenal.
yeah, yeah, yeah. That's cool. Yeah, he's a legend, and he's still out there, kind of like doing stuff. I want to read that. Did you read that one?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I can't
Nice.
remember. I remember being a little underwhelmed by the plot, but the art was carrying the book, so I didn't really care.
Yeah, yeah. It's cool. You keep up with. You've kind of kept up with mainstream stuff even now. Like, are you reading any? I don't know what. Like, what's the other one that? Have you heard of Rook? Like the one company that where
Oh,
they.
dude, I love Ghost Machine. I'm buying all of Ghost
Yeah,
Machine.
yeah, yeah.
Rook
I've
Exodus.
heard they're great. Yeah. What are you reading now that like that is good? And is there any that you think are bad? Like,
Hold on. Let me pull up my pull list on my phone here. The everything by Ghost Machine is phenomenal. So anything Geiger, Redcoat, Rook Exodus, Hornsby and Halo, the Rockefellers, Hyde Street. Um, I feel like I'm forgetting something there, but all of those are really, really solid. You can't go wrong with Ghost Machine. Energon Universe is on fire right now. The Transformers, GI Joe, and Void Rivals.
those
Uh,
are great too. Yeah,
those
and
are those
that's
are really good.
who's
Yeah,
that writer? He's always good, but what's I forgot his name?
Robert Kirkman.
Yeah, Kirkman.
Yeah, he just took over Transformers from Daniel Warren Johnson, and Warren Johnson's run is really good, but I think what Robert Kirkman's doing now is even better. And
Cool.
then Joshua Williamson is doing GI Joe, and it is just absolutely like, there used to be a time during like the Chris Claremont X-Men era where X-Men was like the number one book, and GI Joe was outselling it. Back
Oh
when
yeah.
like the Larry Hama is a real American hero, like GI Joe was outperforming. So GI Joe has always been this like prestige book in my mind, even though it kind of has fallen off here and there. Morris art is great for Transformers, yeah. Um, but the stuff Williamson is doing, he is just completely reinventing GI Joe while keeping it entirely familiar as well, and it's just phenomenal. Um, Zeb Wells' current stuff on Conan is great. He's been going for what issue number is he on now? 29. There's not a single bad issue in that. I highly recommend Conan. That and the Savage Sword. I think that comes out like every other month or something, or maybe 4 issues. I don't remember how many issues a year, but that's really
Mm.
good. Larry Hama and MD Bright just came out with the Center Holds last week, which is like a superhero book. I highly recommend that as well. You can't go wrong with Larry Hama. We're 325 issues into GI Joe now, and it's still a must read for me.
Cool.
Freddie, oh shit, I can't remember Yang and Freddie Williams just relaunched. Or just took over Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. That runs really good so far. Um,
So is it? It sounds like mainstream is doing pretty good these days. I guess, right? So has it recovered or no?
what's that?
Has it like recovered from woke terribleness?
So if I'm looking at my poll list right now, and I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, nine non or 9 DC and Marvel out of the
Yeah.
like 40 books. And so
Your
everything
pull
else
list
I'm
is
buying
40
DC.
books?
It's a lot of miniseries. In like 3 months, it's gonna get cut down in half.
Okay. But I mean, even that, yeah, you're a true blood comic reader. That's cool.
I need my comics. I there's not a day that goes by that I don't read at least one issue of something.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah, I like that. I like the idea of like someone who's so ingrained in just the reading of it producing a comic. I would want to read your comic just for that reason, for the baseline. I think, by the way, I think
I
Dale reads a ton of comics too. Um, Mediocre Mainstream
Yeah,
Comics.
yeah, I would agree, Dale. A lot of it is just mediocre. If I'm pulling something, it's because I actually like genuinely want to read it. Genuinely want to like. I try not to like be too negative on stuff, and if I don't like something, I kind of try to keep it to myself. But the Eric Larson just did like a Spider-Man noir miniseries,
Yeah,
middle of the road as it can get.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
it
It's
just
kind of disappointing when it's like that
all
middle of the road because you pay. We're all we're paying money for it and stuff, and you get that feeling.
And yeah, that and so it's like when I'm getting stuff like that, and J. Michael Straczynski has a 1776 story where it's like the Avengers go back in time to the Revolutionary War. This should have been like a great story, the in middle of the road.
Yeah,
Like it had so much potential, and it just kind of petered out. And it that's the reason why there's only like 9 big 2 comics on here, because the rest of it's just like I couldn't really care enough to read it. Absolute Batman's pretty good, but
yeah,
even then I'm kind of like mixed on it. Um, Absolute Wonder Woman's actually really good. Now I'm thinking about it.
cool.
As far as the absolute universe goes, I know that's like blowing up right now, but I'm not really understanding why it is. Just given, maybe it's just the new factor. And that's not to like crap on anything they're doing, but like it just, or people that enjoy it.
Yeah,
It just,
yeah.
it's just kind of
Even with that one, the one I kind of feel like. So I haven't read it, but it's like that level of success is kind of good for everybody because it will be able to open. Like I know he's hiring artist and writer teams and letting him do whatever they want with a lot of like the absolute stuff. He's just like, what do you want? He's not even telling them what to do. I'm like, and it's because of the like, well, some of that's a cool philosophy Snyder bringing to it, but it's the success is freeing that up, and downstream there will be positive effects of that, and just people getting work,
yeah.
people getting jobs.
Regardless of how I feel about it, as long as comics are selling, I'm happy.
Yeah, yeah. They've mentioned that like the big 2 doing good actually really helps indies because people, yeah, like you say, you got 9 on your pull list. Sometimes that'll be what gets you into the comic shop. Then all of a sudden you're adding a bunch of indie stuff.
Yeah, so
And
the
then
people that go into the store for Absolute Batman, they're going to go in there and they're going to see like, oh, what's this GI Joe thing that's going on? What's this Conan thing that's going on? And so they go in for one thing and they come out with more, and
yeah,
that's good for everybody.
yeah, and even like first time readers or people will read it, be like, "Hey, I like that. What else you got?" And then yeah, because
Mm-hmm.
actually crowdfunding is actually like that. And I'm wondering, like at times when crowdfunding is great, it's like yeah, people they're monthly, they might back like 5 books per month when in a golden era or something. And then yeah, like if the economy's bad or whatever, that could go down to like 1 or 2. And yeah, you're like there. People are still getting noticed, but just the numbers aren't there for backings or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, so it's interesting how that happens. Like you could potentially in theory be like everyone knows about you and you're everyone's top 5, but everyone is only backing 2, so you got 0 sales. But you're out there. Like
Yeah.
it's deceptive. It's like your actual success is a little bit more than you think sometimes with crowdfunding, I think. And I think one thing too, but we got to start closing up here a little bit. But I was gonna say yeah, for crowdfunding, I think it's good when the time comes when you launch, um, to just yeah, like launch, get orders fulfill, launch, get orders fulfill, and hopefully it's growing. But like even if it's like yeah, whatever the numbers, if it's lower or higher, if it's 100 or something like 100 actually by today's standards is like maybe pretty good, but that in other eras would be considered kind of low. But yeah, if it's like 100, and then yeah, you can like ship out 100 in a weekend, and then you launch two, and being able to build it is and get uh yeah, like feedback and just get your stuff out there, I think is like a good first step.
So as far as what I am defining as successful
Yeah.
is as long as I make the money that I spent on it
Yeah.
and turn a profit. But for me, turning a profit is one penny. If I make one, if I'm able to pay for everything that if I'm able to make everything that I paid for plus one penny, I'll consider it a success.
Yeah. Cool.
And
Yeah, that's
that's
fun. Yeah, the business of comics, it's crazy. And it is like lots of expenses. Um,
you
but
don't get into
yeah.
comics to make money. And I think that's where a lot of people are going wrong is because they
Yeah.
see all these massive books that like gosh, I can't remember his name, the Isom guy.
Yeah.
Um, he
Eric.
made like what, like $3 million or something like that on one book or something like that. And they see stuff that like Chuck Dixon and Mike Barron and stuff are putting out, and it's like these thousands and thousands of dollars, and they just see money in their eyes, and they're like, "Oh, I can do that." And but it's like that's not why you get into this. You get into it because you have a story that you want to tell. You get into it because this is your passion. And if you're not doing that, you're going to fall off. One, you're going to fall off. Two, you're not going to make any money. Three, you're going to be really unhappy.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
it for me, it's like you need to take this seriously. You need to be going into it for the right reasons. And I'm hoping I'm going into it for the right reasons because I'm not looking to make a quick buck. I have a job. I have a secure place in my life right now where I'm able to, if this fails, I have something I can fall back onto. And
Yeah.
this isn't why I'm doing this. I'm doing this because I think Pawn is an important story to tell. I think that Pawn is a story people will enjoy.
Yeah.
And
And sometimes people it might lose money for a little bit and then it makes money later, even like a year or two
that
later.
too,
Maybe a
yeah.
trade comes out or something. So yeah, and you can always get more people. I think that's cool. Yes. So by the way, yeah, if you notice, like if we go like around an hour, a few more people come in, it's like that's just how the algorithm works. And also we've been talking, I'm like, damn, we got kind of the engines revving. I feel like we could keep going. But I have to get out of here. I have to run out to the Y tonight and I'll sneak in a little mini workout
Oh,
or
you're good,
something.
man. We didn't even get through all the characters, but you're good.
Yeah. So, but that's good. So I just want, yeah, chat to know like the purpose of the stream is to get a few people on that mailing list. So please, if you haven't, it's free to sign up. So everyone just please do it. I'm begging you to click that
One
link.
last thing, if that's all
Yeah.
right, Per.
Yeah.
I sent you a Dropbox links with some pages we can show off.
Yeah. Let me see. We can look through these real fast. Are all
Because
of
like I
these?
said, there is the comic is almost half done, so we can actually show off some of the stuff that we have here.
Yeah. Are all of these, we can,
Those are all showable.
cool. All right. Yeah.
We don't have to show them all, but they're all. Uh,
Yeah, and it's I can't zoom in, I don't think, but people can see. I'll flip through them here.
so like I hold on, slow down. So this is a flashback. This is the start of what technically would have been the first issue, before I added the 10-page prologue to it. Like I said, Ernie is in a dark place, and this is kind of showing where that dark place came from. So he's returning home one day, and he gets home, and the door is open. If you want to skip forward one page, door is open. There's a blood trail going inside, and he opens the door, and dead
Oh
family,
yeah, cool.
satanic
See,
sacrifice.
that's like you got to be a good reader just to have that opening. I think you got to read 1,000 comics and write a bunch of crap, and then you can have it. They call that a stinger in TV. I learned this only a year ago or something, but it's like you have or sometimes they call it a cold open, but it's yeah, like
Yeah, yeah,
this would
yeah.
be the cut. This would be the cut to credits or cut to commercial moment, and then
Title
you want
sequence.
yeah, yeah. You can almost hear the music of like the moments building or whatever. That's awesome. Cool. Yeah, we'll leave that as the preview, but you guys can see it. This is great. Great storytelling, cool art, cool story coming out in June. Um, and yeah, so the number one thing this all no, aren't even asking for backers at this point, just asking for mailing signups. So please do. It's the pinned link. It's in the description. It will, if you click it, and then it will send an email that will probably go to your spam. So check your spam. Then you got to just click confirm, and then you're in. And when we started the stream, it was at 0, so we'll know how many people we got. So we want to get it up to.
Yeah, hold on. Let me log on and see what I got here.
Yeah. Then if it's not high enough, we can shame the chat for doing it. Woodrow, what's up, man? Sign up for the mailing list. Pretty please, pretty please. Alex VRB.
Somebody said they signed up, but they did not click the link in the email. So we are
Oh,
still.
is it still 0 as we're sitting here?
Yep.
Oh, okay. You guys, chat. You guys got to do this. You got to click it and then go to your email and click confirm. But we won't stick around and shame everyone. Here.
No. Yeah. No, you're good.
But yeah. All right. So hang out just for a second, because when I go private, or I'll end the stream, then we can chit chat privately for just a second. But I just ended. I just click end. Some people have an ending video.
Okay, I appreciate you letting me come on.
Yeah, no problem. It was good chatting with you. And like I said, it's like we can keep going, and we'll stream again. If not, definitely when you launch, but we can stream again before you launch too. But yeah, everyone keep.
Yeah. No, I'm usually around. So.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, are you feeling a little more warmed up about streaming now that you've done it for an
hour? I am. Yeah, no, I feel like we just got started, and I could go for another like 2 hours, but
yeah, that's how I feel too. But that's a good intro, and even you'd be surprised. Yeah, the learning curve. Like you're an hour, you're already good, because you kind of you're a voice actor and you got the radio voice almost. So I feel like those
Thank you.
apply good. All right, cool. I'm gonna click the button.
Oh, hey, you know what would be a good outro video?
What?
The hotel story promo I did for you.
What was that one? I can't remember. It was
oh god, I can't remember the name of the character, but the guy on the outside, the old guy.
Oh yeah.
Listen up.
Yeah, the one you did the voice for. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let me see if I have it uploaded, because
if you don't have it, I do.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah. Do you want to pull it up?
Let me. Why am I getting notifications from Grok?
Oh, no way. I do have it, I think. Okay, I'm going to click this and see if it works.
Listen up, recruit. Salome is trying to sacrifice the entire hotel to God knows what. Our boy Adrian got in, but we haven't heard from him in a coon's age. He's likely got his hands full trying to save who he can while also trying to disrupt her spell. I've placed a portal on the roof to help him get people out, but it won't be open forever. For now, all we can do is watch.
Hey. All right. Now I'm clicking the button. So it's going to end here. Thanks.